Hello guys, this is Speaking on Flicks. Today I'll be talking about Yorgos Lanthimos' Kinds of Kindness, which is probably the best film I've seen in 2024, so let's get into it. Yorgos Lanthimos' Kind of Kindness is a remarkable anthropological epic that manages to exponentially combine absurdity and human relationships with a hypnotically unsettling tone. There's a mad scientist knocking on cinema's door, and his knocks have been growing consecutively louder over the years. Now, just a year after his Oscar-winning success, he's back with Kinds of Kindness, where he teamed up with his new muse, Emma Stone, and gives shining room to stars like Willem Dafoe, Jesse Plemons, and Margaret Qualley. It's triple the trouble as Lanthimos presents three tales that allow the viewers to absorb into his stories that glorify madness and twist the boundaries of reality. I'm excited that Kinds of Kindness broke through my initial expectations and managed to stay so engaging and exhilarating. Lanthimos is something new that modern films need, and I'm all in for it. To begin, Story 1 tells the story of a man's troubled relationship with his employer as it reaches a boiling point when his life takes a steep turn in the wake of a fallout. This is my favorite, and it's also the best of the bunch. The themes orbit ideas of obsession and a drive for acceptance. Story 1 is probably the most hilarious of the three, and it's aided by the perfect chemistry between Plemons and Dafoe. Perhaps this one is a superior segment as it first introduced a distinct tone that stick around until the very end. But there's something extremely delicious and mysterious about the storytelling here. It's probably the best written one too. Out of 5, I definitely give this one 4.5. Story 2 tells the story of a police officer who suspects his wife is an imposter after she miraculously survives being stranded on a deserted island. This one is the bloodiest and in many ways the most surreal. I was afraid that its premise would be too predictable, but I made the mistake of doubting Lanthimos and his artistic genius. His profession is a surprise, and even so, he pursues these goals in the most unordinary manners. Story 2 is the most sexual, meaning Lanthimos has a lot of room to set up his signature uncomfortable sex gags. Calling Story 2 the weakest says a lot about how magnificent Kinds of Kindness is, yet it lacks the narrative substance that the first and third behold. Out of 5, I give Story 2 4 stars. Story 3 tells the story of a recently separated mother who journeys to find a woman who holds the power of resurrection. Meanwhile, her sour relationship with her ex-husband and her employer fall in the way of her goals and confidence. This is where Emma Stone steals the show. Story 3 probably makes the least amount of sense as it basically uses creative pseudosciences and spirituality to move its wacky plot along. It also utilizes monotony to its fullest sense, making the reoccurring terrible screeching by Stone's purple sports car and her personal obsession with finishing her job. It creates an atmosphere that's so engaging to the viewer, as it manages to develop so many character moments and shoot out the absurdities hand in hand. Story 3's themes orbit a drive for acceptance similar to the Story 1. It's probably the cruelest of the three in terms of cynicism and abandonment. It's definitely a delightfully wild end to this spectacular anthology. Ultimately, all three stories are awesome. They all share one huge trait, and that's that they're weird as hell. Jurgen Fendrick's wonderfully strange and nearly classical-esque soundtrack is just perfect in every story. The entire film is edited to perfection, and the cinematography is exciting and observant from start to finish. One can call Kinds of Kindness Kubrick-esque or Lynchian, but either way, Lanthimos is a fresh auteur who's got many more wonders to come. Sometimes making something shockingly nonsensical can compel more than something rawly relatable. It's all in the filmmaking, and I had the privilege of watching a master among us.